History holds the memory of a terrifying year, a year the world remembers as the year without a summer. During this time, humanity was gripped by sheer panic. People watched in disbelief as the months of May, June, and July passed without a single trace of summer warmth. Farmers stood in absolute despair as their lush green crops froze and withered overnight. Rivers, lakes, and streams turned to solid ice during what should have been the hottest months of the year. Even in broad daylight, the sky was choked by a strange, ominous darkness. Terrified, people looked to the heavens, shivering as the temperatures plummeted. But the source of this global apocalypse wasn't in the sky. The true mastermind behind this worldwide chaos lay thousands of miles away, deep within the earth. Welcome back to Syed's Artifact Theory. In Indonesia, there is a stunning, lush green island called Sumbawa. On this island once stood a colossal, silent mountain known to the world as Mount Tambora. It was so massive that its upper half was almost always hidden behind the clouds. Standing at an astounding height of nearly 4,300 meters, it was the highest peak in the entire region at the time. For centuries, this mountain remained dead silent, like a sleeping giant. In the surrounding islands, communities lived peaceful, prosperous lives. They farmed their lands, fished the seas, and thrived. They had absolutely no idea that inside the belly of this silent giant, a terrifying doomsday was brewing. A boiling ocean of magma was slowly rising, packing enough power to shake the entire Pacific Ocean. Then came April 10, 1815, the historic and horrific day when Mount Tambora's centuries of suppressed fury finally exploded. This was no ordinary volcanic eruption. Experts rank it as the most violent and powerful volcanic eruption in 10,000 years of human history. The sound of the blast was so deafeningly loud that it traveled thousands of miles. People living 2,600 kilometers away heard its terrifying echo. In distant lands, the roar was so intense that locals thought a massive war had broken out nearby. British military officers even ordered their cannons to be readied for defense, genuinely believing they were under attack by a massive fleet of pirates. In an instant, daytime turned into pitch-black night. The sky began raining nothing but burning rocks and suffocating ash. From the heart of the mountain, a deadly river of fire and superheated gas, known scientifically as a pyroclastic flow, rushed down. Traveling at hundreds of kilometers per hour and screaming at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius, this storm of fire wiped out the entire Tambora kingdom and its surrounding villages in the blink of an eye. No one stood a chance. Not a single soul had even a second to escape. The colossal blast and the subsequent collapse of the mountain triggered catastrophic tsunamis, completely submerging nearby coastal regions. Days later, when the smoke finally cleared and survivors looked back, they were left paralyzed with shock. The majestic mountain peak that once pierced the sky was entirely gone. In its place stood a massive, yawning crater, a caldera, 6 kilometers wide and 1 kilometer deep. When we think of volcanoes, we usually assume that flowing lava causes the most destruction. But in the case of Mount Tambora, the real killer wasn't the lava at all. The lava remained confined near the mountain. The true global devastation was caused by the gases blasted high into the atmosphere. The violent explosion shot millions of tons of ash, fine debris, and sulfur dioxide gas straight into the stratosphere, the upper layer of our atmosphere. This sulfur didn't just stay there. Propelled by powerful high-altitude winds, It wrapped itself around the globe, completely choking the northern hemisphere. 50 kilometers above the Earth, these microscopic particles formed a thick, invisible blanket that blocked the sun's rays and trapped its warmth away from the planet. Without sunlight, global temperatures plummeted drastically. It was an invisible enemy, silently hijacking the world's weather and forcing humanity to shake with cold. The terrifying consequences of this atmospheric blanket manifested the very next year, in 1816. In parts of Canada, the United States, and Europe, the peak summer month of July witnessed sub-zero temperatures and heavy blizzards. Farmers were left helpless. Every time they planted seeds, unseasonal snow buried them alive. Birds dropped dead from the sky, victims of the freezing cold and starvation. Europe was cast into a perpetual, heavy fog and a bitter winter that refused to leave. With crops failing globally, severe food shortages hit the markets. Prices for basic necessities like flour and rice skyrocketed. Desperate to survive, people began rioting, looting granaries, and fighting each other for food. It became a brutal war for survival. The most tragic part? People at the time had absolutely no idea why this curse had fallen upon them. There was no internet, no television, and no rapid communication. While people in Europe and America watched snow fall in July, they had no clue that a mountain thousands of miles away in Indonesia was pulling the strings. Many believed Judgment Day had arrived, or that the sun had lost its power forever. Thankfully, the sulfur and ash particles couldn't stay in the sky forever. Over time, the atmospheric dust slowly settled back to Earth. By 1817, the weather showed slight signs of improvement. By 1818 and 1819, the sun began to break through the haze, and summer finally returned. It took a full 5 years after the eruption, until 1820, for global temperatures to completely return to normal. More than 200 years have passed since that catastrophic event, but are we safe in our modern world? Scientists believe that if an eruption of this magnitude happened today, the devastation would be far worse. First, the global aviation industry would instantly collapse, as volcanic ash destroys jet engines mid-air. Panic would trigger a massive global stock market crash, and social media would become a breeding ground for fake news and mass hysteria. No matter how advanced our technology becomes, against the raw fury of Mother Nature, we remain just as helpless as the people of 1816. The most unsettling fact? Mount Tambora is not a dead volcano. It remains a highly active stratovolcano. Just recently, in March 2026, scientists detected a significant spike in underground seismic tremors here. This means the sleeping giant is awake, alive, and quietly rebuilding its strength deep beneath the earth. Who knows when it will decide to cross the line again? I hope you enjoyed this documentary by Syed Ahmad researcher. Make sure to like and share this video. See you in the next spectacular episode.